If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
Before Epstein was the Franklin cover-up. Before that, the Finders. And long before that, the Cleveland street scandal. Pedogate Primer is a concise intro and overview of a growing child abuse epidemic worldwide. It features shocking instances of institutionalized and organizational pedophilia throughout history. Churches, cults, the world of arts and entertainment, the government, NGOs, charities, and major corporations are all complicit or culprits in many instances. Pedogate Primer delves into material that for many may seem like the stuff of conspiracy theories. For this reason, the book draws on academic resources, declassified documents, and other reliable sources, and steers clear of conjecture. Such shocking true stories need no embellishment.
Emailrevealer.com. People ask me all the time, hey Ed, are you still a private investigator? I sure am. Go to emailrevealer.com. We handle adoption investigations, infidelity investigations, where you give us your spouse's email address. We trace it back to online dating websites, catch them cheating online. Email tracing, locate or identify somebody from as little as an anonymous email address. Someone owe you money? Back child support? We can find that deadbeat, locate his hidden assets, locate his hidden bank accounts, find his current place of employment, and even assist you in obtaining a judgment and recover that judgment for you. Emailrevealer.com. Digital forensics, computer forensics, cell phone forensics, recover deleted text messages. Create a report that you can use in court. Emailrevealer.com, 800-572-9762. The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay. Okay, well, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. You can find me on Patreon and Spreaker by looking up Opperman Report. Much exclusive content there on Patreon, and also too all the shows you hear Monday to Friday on AM/FM radio without the ads cut out. The commercials are cut out entirely. And on Spreaker every Friday night, I do a live show exclusive to Spreaker audience. And what do you call it? So too, if you sign up at Spreaker for free, get an email notification anytime I put up new content. And there's a chat room, very lively chat room, chatters in there, chatting away. Also, it's a big help to me too if you are a listener on Spreaker. If you could retweet those shows and share them and like them and do my little comment and stuff like that, try and get those numbers up. That's the only way I get paid for doing the podcast portion of the show is from Spreaker ads on Apple Plays and iTunes and iHeart, that kind of stuff. YouTube, we don't get any money at all from YouTube. So if you're listening on YouTube, I would really encourage you to go and subscribe on Spreaker. You get more shows, first of all, because YouTube deletes so much of my content. And it's a much more intelligent crowd, too. And it would help support the show if you retweeted the Spreaker show. Anyway, okay, big week. It's been a big week. I'm getting annoyed the hell out of me. And now we're going to have fireworks in the background during the show. Big week. We had the conviction of Ghislaine Maxwell. 5 out of 6 counts. The biggest charge is going to be 40 years. And since it's a federal trial, it's a point system. And I forgot, I thought it was like 70%, but I was told today by Hoffenberg that it's 85% just to serve 85% of the time. And it's not like people think, oh, you get half off good behavior, blah, blah, blah. This is federal. You don't get any of that. It's the worst situation. Federal court, if you get busted by the Department of Justice, the FBI, DEA, Border Patrol, Customs, any of those federal agencies, it's like a 98% conviction rate. They have unlimited resources to come after you, and they're not afraid to use it. They'll go after your family. They'll threaten to arrest your family members. 98% conviction rate, and you do 85% of the time. It's a point system. So there's no, the judge has very little leeway, so it's very serious business there. And, if you're a smart guy, you could avoid federal charges, just one. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this, but just don't mail anything with U.S. mail, okay? Because then they'll bring in mail charges, and that's how they usually use it to. You'll see a lot of these scams, these financial scams, and they'll say, "Oh, we're going to FedEx you the proposal," and I said, "No, don't FedEx. Let's just send it regular mail." And I said, no, we send everything FedEx, first class all the way, because they want to avoid the federal charges of using the U.S. Postal Service. Anyway, that's a little inside baseball. So tonight, both shows are going to be related to the Maxwell trial and the Jeffrey Epstein case. First, we have Stephen Hoffenberg talking about the verdict, what he thinks is happening next, the Victims' Compensation Fund, the Epstein estate. We get into a bit of the intelligence aspects around Epstein, and also, too, other people procuring children for this group, like Jean-Luc Brunel, Trump modeling agency, different matters there, and some things he doesn't want to talk about is concerned. We talked a bit about Ari Ben-Menashe, who's a former Mossad agent. Some people think he's still a Mossad agent. Kind of interesting. Hopefully I'm going to be able to interview Mr. Menashe in the short future. And then I had on a second show of the night will be Jeff Gilson, who wrote a book called Maggie's Hammer. Now, he wrote this book, and Robert Maxwell is heavily involved in his book, and so is Ari Ben-Menashe again. And he gets into some theories and allegations about Ben-Menashe being involved with the murder of Princess Di, Robert Maxwell, which is kind of funny because Offenberg just kind of brought that up too. He asked me a question if I thought it was, and it wasn't really the question I was asking him. So a lot of stuff going on around here, guys. Okay, a lot of stuff going on around here as usual. Oh boy. You got some other guy has some recordings of a guy admitting to be involved in the JFK assassination, and Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King. Just heard from him tonight. So, there's always something going on around here. Now, I want to talk, the show is titled, for people who can see a title on the show, because not everybody who listens to the show sees a title. If you're driving in your car, you're not going to see a title on the show. It's called My 9 Years Journey with Jeffrey Epstein Case. And so, because when the verdict comes out, I get, on a week like this, I get bombarded, with interview requests and, people just off the wall type people, with their opinions and their stuff, experts on this business here, Like I had to block a couple of people on Facebook because you just have no idea what they're talking about. They're annoying me. So a lot of people don't realize, too, my involvement in all this. Even people who are fans of the show, people listen to the show every week, they recognize their name, and they say, oh, my goodness, I had no idea you were involved in any of this. That's my case. So I'm going to lay all that out for you, my 9 years. And I kind of don't feel like this is a big victory at the end of all this. 9 years. I first heard about this story about 12 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, before I had a radio show. I was sitting in some waiting room somewhere, and I read this story about this billionaire who had this mansion, and I believe it was like a local Palm Beach publication, and he was molesting these 3 little girls every day with this massage, and that he didn't do much time. He pretty much got away with it. That was the gist of the story, okay? So now when I got a radio show, I says, that's one of those stories I want to do on the radio. I want to tell this story. But no one knew the name Jeffrey Epstein. I had no idea what the name Jeffrey Epstein was. So I put in certain keyword search terms, and I was able to find the story, find out his name was Jeffrey Epstein, and found out some more, that Clinton flew on his plane, and I found out more details on this. Went to his Wikipedia page, and I got some details on that. But there was very, very little reporting on this story. Some British tabloids were reporting on it because of his friendship with Prince Andrew. But there was very little in U.S. press. And there was no radio report whatsoever. There was nothing on YouTube. The name Epstein, you could Google it all day or all night. Nothing would come up on YouTube. And I couldn't find a guest to come on the show because no one had heard of this story before. And I got lucky because Robert Morrow, who was a ghostwriter for Roger Stone, and he was a supporter of Mr. Trump, he was familiar with the story. So I says, okay, let's get Robert Morrow on the show. So I brought him on. He's a real character, kind of difficult guest. And that was his most well-behaved appearance on this show ever. Okay, and God, I guess I don't know if you call it downhill or uphill, but he's very boisterous kind of character. So I had him on for an hour, and then I did the second hour myself, and that's the first radio broadcast anywhere on the planet about Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, and it was me, and that was 2013, 9 years ago. Now, I did that first broadcast, and I did a couple more after that. And then I guess I caught the attention of Pierce Redmond, who started inviting me on his show. He had heard the story, too. And he invited me on his show to talk about it, and I used to invite him back. And pretty much in the beginning, that was pretty much it. The only people talking about this story. And then some Pizzagate types, got a hold of it on YouTube and started running with it and kind of exaggerating things all over the place. In June of 2015, I heard about a lawsuit about a young woman using the name Jane Doe suing both Trump and Epstein. And just came across my vision, and I heard about this, and I saw the lawsuit, and I saw there was a phone number on there. I tried calling up the number, and it had been shut off already, because I wanted to help out if I can get a hold of these people. So that lawsuit was thrown out. It was a do-it-yourself lawsuit, and it was all kind of errors in the way it was filed and stuff, and it was thrown out. And this attorney from New Jersey picked it up and started a lawsuit, and he contacted me right away